Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2022 Lexus RX 450h. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Lexus here in Murray for giving me some time with this RX. Check out their inventory link below. Let's get right into the video. So under the hood we have a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6 that's paired to a hybrid system and a CVT automatic. Total system output is 308 horsepower with fuel economy being 31 around town and then 28 on the highway. Now let's go to the front end of the 450h. So first off, this one's finished in Caviar, which looks absolutely fantastic. You guys can see a little bit closer just the beautiful metallic flake you have in the paint. And then notice that we've got the Lexus check mark right there with the projector bulbs. Parking sensors here integrated into the front. Notice that the Lexus logo has some blue accenting around it to kind of signify that this is a hybrid. And then you see the metallic gray all over the grille, and see the accent piece off to the side. And then I love how everything has a brushed appearance on it. Definitely makes it look a whole lot more premium. And aside from that, well, there's my shadow and there's the front end. Coming around the side here, we've got two 35mm tires wrapped around 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then if you look at the design on the wheels, you can see you've got the silver with the dark metallic gray, and it actually looks like a flower, which is pretty interesting. Notice that we've got the plastic molding there for the fender flare, and it continues along the bottom portion. Hybrid logo there on the edge. And then notice that the mirrors are body painted, and here's your full side view. And then notice with the accent here around the windows and how it kind of like flows down to the back, I think that looks really good. Now here's our key fob for the RX 450. Notice that we've got the Lexus logo in the back, which also has the blue accenting to signify it's a hybrid. We've got our unlock, lock, and then also that doubles as the remote start function. And then this is to open up the rear hatch. And by the way, if you do the remote start, you won't necessarily hear the engine start up because it's a hybrid, so it might just use, obviously the battery. So just kind of take that into account. Now here's the cargo area in the RX. So notice that we have the cargo cover, which has some nice stitching throughout. We've got all of the floor mats back here, a bunch of rubber floor mats, our Lexus first aid kit. And then if we kind of pop underneath this whole section, you can see this is where the spare tire lives out its days. And last but not least, you've got these latches to throw down the seats in the back, and that's all. So we're gonna press that button. You can also lock it with the other button from the back, but that'll lower her down. Boom. Now here is the door panel in the rear. Notice we got really nice wood trim with the leather all over the door panel. And then we've got the window control here. Speakers there for the sound system. And then you can see the chrome door handle up above. And then here are these seats. So notice we've got the really nice perfect leather with the smooth leather here on the sides of the seats. And then you can see the vents right there. And then you've got a couple of the USBs. And of course, let's pop in here. So here's the legroom. Headroom as well, if you guys are wearing about 6 foot. Fit back here very comfortably. Have the cup holders that pop out very nicely. But anyways, let's head to the front. Now here's the door panel at the front. Notice we've got that same nice wood trim with the leather all down below that. All of our window controls, we've got our mirror adjustments. This does have power folding mirrors. 3 settings rather for the memory seats. Got the Lexus plaque right there, and then here are the seats at the front. So again, got the really nice leather with the perforated leather all down the center. Power adjustments there on the side, and then you can see the pedals just down below. And then we've got the latch release for the hood. We've got this for the camera, the heated steering wheel, the lights, that's for the hatch, and then the gas release. And then notice that the steering wheel is automatically adjustable, and there's one more look before we pop in. So here's the steering wheel in the RX. Notice we have the really nice wood trim at the top, and then down below we've got leather all around as well. We've got our controls for the center stack, cruise control, signature Lexus logo there in the center with the voice command, and volume controls, paddles on the back for that CVT. Turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock, and that's all for the steering wheel. So here's the center gauge cluster. Notice that over here we have some stuff for the hybrid system, right? Letting you know if you're charge, eco, or if you are in the power. That's what we're gonna call it. But anyways, notice we have that center screen which you can scroll through different bits of information on the RX. Pretty standard stuff. And then we do have some different drive modes. So we've got an eco mode, and then push in for normal, and then we have a sport mode. Notice it makes everything red and aggressive, and then there is also a full EV mode. It says it's unavailable right now, but notice how that changes in the sport mode to show the RPMs. I think that is pretty neat stuff. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, if we pop it into reverse, you can see we've got the backup camera with trajectory lines. They turn with the steering wheel, and then you've got that bird's eye view on top of that, and then you can change the viewpoint. You guys can also see that this is actually a touchscreen, and for some reason the camera just freaked out right there. Remember there was that camera button earlier? If we press that, notice that it gives us this kind of like 360 view. Man, the camera is struggling today. I do not know why. But yeah, you got that viewpoint, then press again, pops back the infotainment system. First off, response time with the keypad part of the system is really good. And then when you actually press the screen, response time is great as well. And I like that you can do whatever you want. You can use, the shortcut buttons on the keypad, or you can just, use the touchscreen function, whichever you prefer with the infotainment system. I like that. We've got the Lexus clock down below, and then notice that we've got the analog controls here for the radio. Climate controls down below that, and then we have our phone charger here with a couple of USBs, phone holder right there, and we have automatic heated and cooled seats, and then we've got our parking brake with our auto hold, shifter for that CVT, and then we've got all the controls for the infotainment system with the wrist rest. Cup holders right here, and I've been trying to figure this button out. It says push, and I push it, nothing happens. I'm guessing there's some sort of like accessory that's attached to it. Let me know in the comment section down below, or maybe I'm just not smart enough to see it. I'm trying to figure out what that push does. But anyways, we've got the drive mode select right here. Again, the EV mode and the stability control. And then we have the center console with the USBs and then a 12 volt. And then notice the stitching goes all along. And we have the glove box with the push button, and it just elegantly pops down. Nice felt, and then notice we've got all of the stitching and leather here on the dash all over. And then popping up to the top, notice that we do have a sunroof that comes with this, just a regular sunroof. Got the nice soft touch headliner, controls for the sunroof, and yeah, that's all. So I'm trying my best so you guys can see the window sticker, but it's not really popping through too well. But anyways, this particular one, after all options, is $58,400. Again, 2022 RX 450h. And with all that being said, let's take her out and see how she drives. So let's talk about visibility before we set off. There's your visibility over the hood. And then both the mirrors, they do have blind spot. Then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's see if this does the thing that the other RX did. So reverse, and then to drive. Oh, it doesn't have it turned on with the camera where it goes to the front camera. But anyways, we'll actually drive. Let's set off. So we are setting off here in the RX 450h. First off, let's talk about the road noise and the ride quality. So from a ride quality perspective, just like all the other RXs, it's really smooth, really comfortable, really quiet. Just feels like a nice luxury vehicle. And then same thing with the noise. It's very well insulated, so Lexus has just done a really good job with all of that. And the engine's also obviously really quiet, so you have a lot of points where it'll shut off the engine and just be in full EV mode, and so you don't get like any noise. And then when it is on, it's not really intrusive. It's definitely quiet. And so again, it just lends to that overall luxury experience. We're going over some train tracks, and we'll get our acceleration here with the RX 450h. So from an acceleration standpoint, it actually does a pretty good job. Obviously, the other RX with, the non-hybrid that has the 8-speed automatic feels a little bit better from an acceleration perspective, even though you don't get the instant power and torque right off the line from the electric motors, because again, that one is not a hybrid, just has the V6. This still just doesn't feel quite as snappy, and I think it's mostly because of the CVT, but it still gets up at a really good pace. Having a V6 with a hybrid is just fantastic. And that'll get me into summing things up here with this version of the RX. So first off, exterior styling looks just like any other RX. The only way you can tell this is a hybrid is there's a hybrid badge on the side, and then the logos are blue. Other than that, if you like RX styling, you like this. Interior wise, again, it is just like every other RX. You're not, conceding anything. You're not adding anything different. Like, it's pretty much all the same. The gauge cluster, right, looks a little bit different because, again, you've got that hybrid component, so you have like the custom gauge cluster for that. So I mean, other than that though, like it's all the same. And from a driving perspective, ride quality is the same, but the difference, right, is going to be with the powertrain and kind of how that changes things. So it's a little bit quieter at lower speeds, again, because it's shutting the engine on and off, and it's very seamless. And again, it just kind of adds to a luxury experience. And then from an acceleration perspective, again, the CVT does hold it back a little bit compared to the regular RX with the 8-speed automatic, but it's not slow or anything like that. And so overall, basically, if you want an RX that you know, I guess is a little bit more tuned towards the luxury side from a noise perspective because it's a little bit quieter and then gets better fuel economy, then that's where this 450h comes into play. Now let's get some things up for our video on this 2022 Lexus RX 450h. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Lexus here in Murray for giving me some time with this RX. Check out the inventory link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.